What is going on? It's Chevo, and today we're gonna make one of my favorite sandwiches. This sandwich holds a special place in my heart. I probably came across it like 2 to 3 years ago. I saw a video online, a recipe video making it, and it was like, you know what? I gave it a go and my life was changed from there on. And so I want to pass on this feeling to you. We'll be making the Philly cheesesteak. You would have noticed there's only 4 ingredients in front of me. And that's the beautiful thing about this dish, it's so simple. First we've got onions. Onions go with meat in every single situation, and so it's only right you have them in the Philly cheesesteak. Next, this is optional, but you can add some capsicum or bell peppers. I cut these to the same size as the onions and they also go so well. But if you're not a fan, you can skip it. Number 3, we've got provolone cheese. Now this cheese is stretchy, beautiful, creamy, and so when you're tucking into a Philly cheesesteak, it really makes a difference. You can go with some mozzarella if you can't find any provolone, but I highly suggest getting out to buy one of these. And finally, you can go with whatever roll you want, but a bread roll is best. It contains the sandwich so well, makes it easier to eat so it's not falling all over the place. And if you get the right type of roll, it's able to soak up all those juices. And now we're missing the one final ingredient, which is the steak. Traditionally, you're meant to use ribeye. However, ribeye nowadays is costing $45 and upward a kilo, which is too expensive. And so I'm gonna let you in on another cut of steak which works just as fine, but is perfect for the budget. And so you're able to make a ton of Philly cheesesteak for all your friends and family without breaking the bank. Let's get into it. Now we've got 4 things to slice up today. So your chopping board doesn't move around. Onions, capsicum, cheese, and meat. And we're gonna do them in that order. First, our onion. Cut in half, cut off the little tip there, and then peel. There you go. Now the root is intact, and that is so important because if you cut the root, you're gonna be crying. So anyway, when you're eating a Philly cheesesteak, the last thing you wanna do is bite into an onion and have it slide out of the roll. And so that's why I like to dice my onion. You don't have to go too small. Because you're gonna be caramelizing the onion, they're gonna get nice and soft and it's gonna be fine. They're gonna be tiny bite-sized pieces that add flavor and aren't really messing with the texture. Makes life 10 times easier. Now for your capsicum. Top and bottom. Then you're left with this. You do use these, don't throw them out, it's a waste. And opening it up. Get rid of any seeds. Get rid of any seeds. Not everyone's a fan of capsicum, so use as much or as little as you want. Now that's bowl number 2 sorted. Now for our cheese. If I use this knife, it's gonna be hard to get it right. Because it's so thick, the cheese will stick onto the knife and it'll be very hard to cut. Instead, grab yourself a knife nice and thin like this and cut through. Unwrap this beauty. And cut some fairly thin slices. If you cut too thick, the cheese won't really melt properly. So something like this, where it's semi-translucent, is perfect. And there are your cheese slices. Now the missing ingredient, the chuck steak. Now if you know anything about your steaks, you're probably very confused. Chuck is a notoriously very tough cut. And so you're probably wondering, why am I using this in a Philly cheesesteak? Cut against the grain and it's surprisingly so soft. And if you're wondering what against the grain is, let me show you. Cutting against the grain means that you're cutting the steak where the fibers are the shortest. This way it's the most tender. And you know you've done it right when the steak slices are almost translucent. It's barely held together by the muscle fibers, and that means you're gonna have an extremely tender end product. And now here we are. Steak is cut, onions and capsicum are diced, cheese is sliced. Now it's time to cook, but I promise this will be the easiest thing you've ever done. Now you can cook this on a non-stick pan, but I do prefer cast iron. And now first up, we're gonna cook our onions and capsicum and soften them up a bit. And we'll cook this on like a medium heat. Now mix that around, and the smell will be unbelievable. And while your pan is screaming hot just like this, put down your steak. Gonna hit it pretty heavily with some salt, black pepper, and garlic and onion powder. Once it's all cooked, then you want to reintroduce your veggies. You then want to lower your heat just a bit so it doesn't burn. Grab your bread roll and cut halfway through. You want to leave them semi-attached so that way you can shove as much meat and veggies as there as you want. If your bread roll's a bit thick, you can take out some of the middle bit. And now what you want to do is lay it on top. And this way your roll is going to get nice, soft and steamy from everything that's cooking in there. Now look at that, that's what you want. Nice, soft and steamy. Now the next step, figure out what your portion is going to be and then layer down the cheese accordingly. I'm just going to grab from wherever, so I'm going to put cheese everywhere. Once again, back onto steam, and this way the cheese is going to be right inside there getting all nice and melted. Eat a few more steak pieces. There you go. Now it's just a matter of scooping it into your roll and serving it up. Now it's time to wrap this up. Where that way when the cheese cools down just a touch, it's all bound together. And it feels better eating it out of paper anyway. It's as if you just bought it, you know? There you go. And now for the moment of truth. I'm so excited. Now look at that. Now as you can see, cheesy, meaty, melted goodness. This thing looks honestly unbelievable. It just hits different eating out of the paper. So good. I don't know, it's just so good. That is why we use provolone. And now I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, make this as soon as you can. Number 2, go like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff. It really helps me out. And number 3, let me know what you want to see next down in the comments.